belong with me, and I belong with you. You belong with me, and I belong with you.
Welcome everyone to bite number 10 of our Pride Month video chats, Belong in Bite Size. I'm Sophie Wood.
And I'm Danielle Wood. And today we're going to be talking about the misinformation and myths that exist around what it is to be transgender. Now, if like us, you'll notice that there's a lot of negative press floating around, both in the UK and the US. And we wanted to take some time today to give you some facts around some of the things that we're hearing. And just in case you've not followed any of our content up until now, I'd just like to introduce the fact that Sophie, my lovely wife, is actually my lovely trans wife. So in essence, you get to hear it straight from the horse's mouth. Right, Soph?
Wow, really? So the other day, I think you actually called me the elephant in the room, and now I'm a horse. I'm trying to think of something a bit more positive and magical to describe me as.
If you'd like, in relation to Pride Month, let me go for a sparkly unicorn. You're a sparkly unicorn in my life. There you go. Nice, magical. So enough of that. Let's get on with what we're here to do today. So I'm going to introduce a topic or ask a question, and Sophie will do her best to enlighten us and perhaps bust some of those myths, okay? So I'm going to jump right off with this one, Sophie. And I've heard this over and over. And yeah, this is a new thing, isn't it? You didn't have trans people in my day.
Hey, so this is absolutely not true. So transgender individuals have existed throughout history and across many different cultures. This is definitely not a new trend. It is a part of natural human diversity, and that's been recorded in ancient texts and traditions and cultures all around the world. I believe one of the earliest popes is believed to have been a trans man. And in 2015, when I bumped into a young Muslim lady at a policing conference, she managed to educate me that trans people are actually mentioned in the Quran. That's the only Abrahamic religious text that does mention trans people. Just shows you we've been around literally for centuries and millennia. Okay, so people have been expressing their gender identity in many ways across the centuries, as I say. And in more recent history, the first sex-affirming surgery, female to male, took place in the United States in 1917, so last century. And the first male to female surgery took place in Berlin, in Germany, in 1931.
Thanks, Sophie. I think that helps clear it up a little bit.
Good.
So what about the assertion that transgender people are just confused about their gender?
Yeah. So being transgender is not about confusion. It's about truly understanding that your gender identity, that is to say, your sense of self in relation to your gender, doesn't match the sex that you were assigned with at birth. Yeah? And the one thing I can say for sure from my life experience is it is not a life choice. It is a choice to live. Now, also consider the World Health Organization has not classified gender dysphoria as a mental health condition since 2019. And that is something that the trans community have known for definite for years and years.
Okay. So on that particular note, whilst the World Health Organization has declassified gender dysphoria as a mental illness, we both know a lot of trans people struggle with their mental health. So why is that, Sophie?
Well, firstly, it's important to understand being transgender is not mental illness. However, the stigma and discrimination that transgender people face can lead to significant mental health challenges. So both before they come out and afterwards. So supporting trans people can greatly improve their mental well-being.
Yes. Because you know what? I think that's something that people don't consider, that it's the societal stigma and people's reactions to you as a trans person that cause mental health struggles. And that's particularly true in your case, isn't it, Sophie? So I I think it would be quite nice if you don't mind sharing a little bit more about your own journey so that it might help others understand more.
Okay, so my experience of transition is completely unique to me, and I can only speak truly of my own experience. But what I can say with regards to my mental health before I came out was, despite having all the trappings of an outward looking kind of perfect lifestyle with great relationships with my beautiful wife, my immediate family, doing really well at work, being quite successful in life in general, there was something wrong. There was something very kind of dark inside of me. And there was a real disconnect between the feedback I was getting from society and my emotions. So a good example is loads of people gave me really great feedback on what a great job I was doing at work consistently. And all of that feedback just completely left me cold. It's almost like I was a little bit dead inside. And then post coming out as transgender, having kind of been through a really traumatic experience in terms of my family deciding not to accept me, and kind of saying that they wouldn't be able to accept me in the future. I'd had an experience with the funding arm of the National Health Service when they actually said, we're not going to fund your medical transition through the National Health Service. And I found that really, really distressing, and I went into freefall. So a combination of those events sent me spiraling. And that led to me trying to take my own life. And after that event, I was then sectioned effectively into a mental health unit. And that in itself was traumatic. Now, those are two really significant instances of mental ill health, but nothing to do with me being a transgender individual, but everything to do with the way that I was being treated as a trans person by institutions and society.
Thanks, Sophie. Thanks for sharing on some of how those reactions and behaviours of others can lead to a poor state of mental health for trans people. Now, I think we can see already that when we started putting this session together today, that we were silly enough to think we'd cram it all into one bite-sized session, and that clearly isn't enough time. So I'm going to say we end here for today, and we do a part 2 on this particular topic. So if you want to hear more from us, then join us next time. So for today, that's all there is, and all that's left for me to say is thank you for listening and helping us spread some of the truth around the misconceptions. And finally, quick reminder that you can pop your comments or questions in this post. You can DM us if you prefer. And if you want to find out more about us, you can visit our website, addressed along the bottom, www.belongingbase.com. And thanks for coming. And until next time, goodbye.
Bye.
To answer for, 'cause you belong with me.